Greetings, family. So this video is going to be on polarization, duality, separation, and your energies. Okay, so basically one thing I want to talk about real quickly is I had a dream. Okay, and I looked up the meaning of the dream, and it basically talks about basically utilizing feminine and your masculine energy. Sometimes when you're not too in your feminine state, you're unbalanced. But this is how we are conditioned and programmed to believing that because we're men, we need to just be masculine and manly men and whatever, and that's all good and dandy. But it's not to walk around and use your femininity to be a sissy or anything like that, but use your femininity as a tool. Okay, because see, masculinity could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing. Okay, just like everything, just like money, just like energies. All right, there's good and bad energies, but in reality, I don't believe there's any bad or good. I mean, everything's a tool. Everything's here for you to use as a tool. Okay, now negative, positive. From there, that's how you create this dualistic matrix that we're in now, because of positives and negatives. Okay, see, it doesn't matter what it is, you're always putting your energy to something to create a separation. The fact that I say, oh well, I'm not eating meat, and and my diet is better than somebody else's, that's already you creating a separation. You see, me, I don't care if you eat meat or not. I put this information out there is for you to be in the know and use it to your advantage. Okay, now same thing when it comes to fear, when it comes to hate, when it comes to anger. People look at that as it's bad. If you really look at fear, okay, see, this is going to be very hard to explain, but I'm going to do my best to do so. And here's how it goes. If you're doing a low vibrational activity such as drinking alcohol, right, and then you decide to do some stupid shit to go behind the wheel and drive, you are in fear, right? But if you are in fear, okay, while you're driving, aren't you way more aware now of looking at cops? You're like more in your present moment now than when you're not drunk and you're just driving and you're in your automatic state. You ever notice how you just drive? You don't pay attention to, like when you first started to learn how to drive, you didn't pay as much attention to you paid more attention to your driving as you do now that you know how to drive. Sometimes you even like go to your destination and don't even realize how you did it. You just automatically did it. Subconsciously, it became an automatic thing. See, back then when you started to learn how to drive, that's the only thing you did was just focus on just driving, following each one of the rules. And now, I mean, people text while they drive, people are on the phone while they drive, and it's because you just became so good at it that it just became an automatic thing, right? But when you're drunk, right, all that goes away, and now you're in about as present of a moment as you could possibly be. Now you're looking out for cops, you're paying attention to the road, you're paying attention to everything. Now you're more focused, right? Something we lack in when we meditate, because sometimes when we meditate, you notice how automatically thoughts just come into your head, right? You tend to not stay in that present moment. So it's an exercise you got to do. That's how you strengthen your frontal cortex, your focus muscle. All right. Now, because we don't exercise this focus muscle, we tend to not be able to have clear images in our head or use our imagination, which is why it's important to read books. Because when you read books, you're not depending on just images. You're using your imagination. Okay. So, looking at fear is a tool that we can use to be in our present moment and to just be more aware. That's the key to consciousness, but not let it overpower you to the point where now you create out of that fear. You know what I mean? So you can create the scenario for a cop to stop you because you're in fear, right? But if you're good at this, I mean, you could just use that fear to just be awake and aware of what you're doing and not fall asleep behind the wheel because you're drunk, right? But instead you use that fear to just keep you awake, but don't let it overpower you where you create a scenario that the cop is stopping you. You see, here's the thing. I'm not telling you to go drink and then drive and then create the scenario of not getting, stopped. This is not what I'm doing. What I'm doing here is just giving you an example as to what I'm getting at. All right? You're in an uncomfortable situation, okay? So you're awake. When you're angry, okay? You're in an uncomfortable situation, right? But do you let the anger overpower you? Okay? You're angry that you owe a debt, but you got yourself in that debt, right? So instead of complaining and letting that energy overpower you, you use that energy now to create and get yourself out of this scenario and learn from the mistake and use that energy now to create a better situation for yourself. Okay? Love, for example, is a high frequency, but it's not the highest frequency. You see, love, you can use love to go up in frequency and vibration, but the thing is that love could also be detrimental, because out of love you can also create too much attachment. Some people confuse obsession with love, and that's why that is not the highest frequency. The highest frequency is neutrality. And the reason why it's neutrality is because, let's say, for example, somebody loves money. The moment you lose it, you're going to be in a very low vibration, very bad state, mentally and in every kind of way. Okay? Now you have to change your mind set. If you were in a bad situation, right? For you to be prosperous, you have to change your mind, right? Now, notice how even when you use the word never mind, right? They always say never use, never say never, right? But when you say never mind, that means you never use your mind, right? That's why you have to be careful with the words you use, because words are vibration, and we have to just be careful we don't entrap ourselves with words. But notice how they're saying also, I got my mind on my money and my money on my mind, okay? Money is good. I'm not saying money is bad, but money is also a tool, okay? It could be used for bad or good. It could put you in a bad mindset, or it could put you in a good mindset. Now, money should be used in this, because money is a tool. You want to use it to experience your best life yet. All right? But you also have to make sure that you're not attached, whether it's there or not. I mean, you have to be smart to keep it there. And it feels good to have money because you're not in a stressful situation. But a lot of people use it to feed their ego and to show off and, luxury. Lux means light. All right? Lucifer means light bearer. Right? The light and darkness. People look at, I am going toward the light. But light could be bad or good as well. Because light, for example, could blind you or it could guide you. Now, if I have a flashlight, I can be a light bearer. Right? And that's what the word Lucifer means, light bearer. So if I have a light and we're in darkness and we're trying to find our way out of something, I'm a light bearer. Does that make me evil? No. To me, evil is living in reverse. Anything that is unnatural is living in reverse. Because the word live spelled backwards is evil. And if you spell lived backwards, that spells devil. Now, anything unnatural is living in reverse. That's why you should be connected to nature. If you look at the word natural in nature, right? Nature, natural. GMO foods, sugars, unnatural salts. The natural salt is rock salt, pink Himalayan salt. Even when you have sea salt, it's bleached with fluoride. So you got to be careful, because that right there is going to calcify your pineal gland. Same thing with sugars. If they're unrefined sugars, bleached sugars, they're white. Everything white is bleached with fluoride. So you got to be careful. All right. It's detrimental to your body. Your body now creates inflammation, which is a defense mechanism from the body. And we look at that as a bad thing. But in reality, that's our body defending itself. I got a little fly that keeps coming in here. But, you know, it's very important that we're aware. Because that's the consciousness is being aware of everything that we do. What we eat, what we drink, what we hear, what we see. You know what I mean? That's consciousness. Enlightenment is when you're in Buddha mode. You know what I mean? You're fully activated. All right? We are light bodies. So when you look at the word enlightened, all right, that means now we are shining bright. We got the light turned on. Okay? Everything's based on light, electromagnetic body. That's why in cartoons, when you see somebody has an idea, bing, you see the light bulb right above their head, right? So, very important that we pay attention to this. Pay attention. Energy flows where attention goes, but what are you paying your attention to? Okay? So, feminine and masculinity. I could be a macho man, somebody who degrades women, machismo, you know what I mean? So, or I can use my masculinity and I could be like a father, you know what I mean? Like you know, the caregiver, breadwinner, you know what I mean? Carrying my household, and, you know, which is all programming as well. But, you know, how do you use your masculine aspect? All right? Women use their feminine aspect, which they could be bitchy, they could be gossipy, talk about each other, catty, you know what I mean? Or they could be maternal energy, okay? Loving, nurturing energy. That's what the feminine aspect could be used for. So it could be used for bad or for good. The masculine aspect could be for pride, ego, control, or it could be used for caring. Okay? Money is meant to be used as an experience for your experience here on this planet, in this 3D reality. Gold, for example, if you look at the back of the dollar bill, it says, "In God we trust." In reality, I think that's supposed to be "In gold we trust." All right? Everything they're always looking to have you look externally, but, you know, the little old seeing eye on top of that pyramid, the capstone that's missing in the pyramids of Giza is made of gold. Gold is a high conductor of electricity. So, gold, I spoke about this in my video previously on the, you know, overview of our energies. You know, I'll put the link in that to that video in the description below, but there's a lot of good information in that video. It's basically an overview too, but you know, the Egyptians used gold, okay, and they didn't wear it for luxury. They wore it because it was empowering their vessel. You know what I mean? So you can look at abundance, and that's your real riches. And knowledge is power. Knowledge, nature's abundant. There's never lacking nature. But notice that's the best way to stay in your right brainwave state, because you're never going to be in fear, right? But if something does make you fearful, you use that energy and transmute it. All right? Rage, anger, you can use that. You could use that energy and transmute it as well. So the moment you start to look at something as bad or good, you start to polarize yourself. So now you create separation, and that's what the problem with this whole thing is, that we have too much separation going on. Separation of race, separation of religion, separation between everybody in every aspect of the game. You know, meat eaters versus vegans, and, you know, is this bad, is this good? Listen, I don't care what anybody does. You could eat meat all you want. I've been asked, can you still be spiritual and in meat. Yeah, you can. But, I mean, how far can you go? You know what I mean? That's the thing. You're not going to have the capabilities of the person who's just eating a raw, natural food diet, alkaline food diet. And I don't say vegan because even just me saying vegan, I'm also categorizing myself and polarizing myself. I'm just eating natural. You know, I'm in my natural state. Is eating a lot natural? No, it's not natural. Because there's 3 ways to eat. That's why you have sunlight, you eat sunlight. You have air, oxygenate your body. There's carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen that you intake. Carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, carbohydrates. People look at that as a bad thing. But in reality, that's the program. But they got you looking at it in a bad way because carbs are actually what your body runs on. But there's also good carbs and bad carbs. Just like I told you before, there's bad salts and good salts. See, when you eat unnatural carbohydrates, coming from like refined sugars and breads and stuff like that, then yeah, I mean, your body's not going to operate correctly. But when you eat carbs from fruits, now you're in good shape. In good shape. You know, and I talked about that on the last video. What shape is acceptable to you? So, you know, very important information. All right. When you love something too much, you create attachments. But when the saying goes, if you love something, you let it go. If it's meant to be, it comes back to you. So you use the love, but you have the neutrality to say, hey, well, you know, if it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. You're content. You're good. In every way, you're good. You're comfortable. You're fine. You know? But when you hate something, you still create the polarization, right? Everything is used to your advantage. People look at the bad, for example. There's information in the bad. If you look at it, they give you subliminal messaging in movies and in TV shows that they're trying to program in you, right? But they're giving you truth. But it's up to you to decipher and use etymology to figure out where the truth is and where the false information is, where the false lights are. Because listen, the devil he's not going to tell you. You see, there's the universal law of free will. You see, nobody could do anything to you without consent, right? You have to agree or consent to eating the poisons. That's why all the foods, all the water, the technology is good and it's bad. It's good because we can look up information and create content like this for us to share our light. But then there's also misinformation out there, all right? The media, TV shows, programs to program you. They're going to, you know, through this, they tell you what they're going to do, but you have to use etymology and deciphering to figure out what it is. Okay? Fluoride, for example. Heavily pushed on kids. Vaccines. Sorry. They talk about how, you know, the vaccines are going to be good for the kids and prevents this, prevents that. But do you ask the right questions? What do they have in it? They're filled with all chemicals and fluoride like crazy to calcify the pineal gland. See, we're all born activated. So the kids are the ones that are attacked the most. See, the kids come in here already knowing everything. And they're going to go through the process of getting dumbed down little by little. Starts with the vaccines, then the foods. Then, you know, we want to give them treats like sugary foods. Introduce them to that nonsense. Introduce them to the meats. I don't know if any of you had kids out there, but listen, you don't notice that when you give them meats and all that, it takes them so long to chew. But when you give them fruits and berries, they could chew that right away and eat that right away. But it takes them so long to eat the meat. They don't naturally like the meat. But we force the meat and the chicken and the fish on them. You know what I mean? So we got to look at what is natural. And that's the right way to be. That's the right way of living. It's natural. You know, not living in reverse. Not living in reverse. Natural is neutral. There has to be a balance. You have to learn how to jump rope and zigzag, right? Sometimes when you're being too positive, you got to go into the negative a little bit maybe, or you fall down into the negative, and that's where you could catapult right back to the positive. Or sometimes when you're in one side, you learn to appreciate the other side, and then you just pretty much zigzag, but you got to find that sweet spot in the middle, the neutral point. See, acidity, right? They say your body's got to be alkaline, right? Alkaline is good because that's the natural state that our body's supposed to be in an alkaline state, but we still need some acidity to help us digest and break down the food, break down certain nutrients, right? So there's got to be a balance. I can't just be completely alkaline. Even though we're supposed to be eating alkaline foods, we still need some type of acidity in our body. So that should tell you, you know, there's no bad or good. Acidic food is bad to eat, right? But if you're eating unnatural acidic food, all right, GMO, cooked unnatural foods. Now there's certain foods that are natural and raw that are more acidic than others, and that's where we got to get into it. I'm going to make a video on that. That's going to be the nutrition part of how we live in reverse and how we're programmed to believe certain things or so yeah, I mean, that's basically this is a very important message as to how not to polarize ourselves. Even when, look, family members, our kids, we love them so much, and God forbid, yeah, that's a saying that's programmed into us too, but you know, something happens to them, notice the state we go into. And it's a shame to say this, but we have to know that this is an illusion, okay? When somebody dies, they're not dead, they just transformed. You know what I mean? And things are supposed to happen the way they are. See, we came to this planet to have an experience. It's a video game. You know what I mean? Let's say I'm the character in a video game, and one of my partners in the video game died. Should it really affect you if that person in the character in the video game died? You know what I mean? We're too in this matrix reality, too involved, not knowing that we're here in a vessel having an experience. We think that this reality is so real that if we lose something, it's detrimental to us. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you it's easy, because it's not. If something was to happen to my son, it's gonna affect me, but I know that it shouldn't affect me the way it's supposed to affect me. And I'm not on these videos telling you I'm perfect or I know it all. All right, I want you to do your own research, but we are supposed to be so neutral that even if we lose a family member, it should just be okay. We should be happy for them. In fact, grow a tree out of their dead body. Compost it. See, we go into a cemetery, it's just full of tombstones. And in reality, we should have a forest of dead people, and you create life out of that dead body. You can grow a tree out of a dead body. I saw a video on how that's done, and I thought that was very interesting. And I thought, listen, it's about as beautiful as it gets. But death is not what we perceive it to be. You know? The family we have here are not really even our family. They might have been somebody you killed in your past life, or somebody that killed you in your past life. You don't know, you know? And I'm not telling you to walk around listen, if your frequency and vibration is high enough, you'll be able to understand this message. Because here's the thing, people judge. And that's actually more detrimental to you than anybody else. If you judge someone or criticize someone, that's equivalent to you expecting them to die and you taking in the poison. But criticism and judgment is lack of understanding. That's what it is. And listen, I don't judge or criticize somebody who wants to kill themselves if somebody dies. But look how ridiculous it is. Some people kill themselves because their girlfriend broke up with them, or their boyfriend broke up with them, or they'll kill their girlfriend just because the girlfriend broke up with them. So just imagine how into this reality we are, if that word reality is even a word. But we cannot be polarizing ourselves to that extent for that reason. Neutrality is one of the biggest keys in this matrix. That's why being lighter in weight doesn't mean being lighter in weight literally. All right, like literally your body being lighter. Lighter in weight means, you see, people have kids by accident nowadays. You just have sex because you just had sex, you know what I mean? And you had a kid by accident. Majority of the people. And then child support is through the roof because these couples aren't even together. So if you think about it, we're in this program and we dig a deeper hole for ourselves. Being lighter in weight means not having that much to care about. Don't have kids, or don't have so many kids. The more kids you have, the more attachments you create. Have a relationship with a girl or a guy, but don't get too attached. You know what I mean? I mean, it's an experience at the end of the day. The same way you can get attached to money and you kill somebody for money, you get attached to relationships, you get attached to family members. This goes deep and very deep. But this is one of the biggest keys, along with language, to this matrix, is attachments. Somebody has a car and they get bent out of shape. If somebody scratches their car or dents it with their door. People get into fights if you get a fender bender. It's not that serious. So just imagine with those little things. So just imagine how deep we are in this. We got to look at everything for what it is. Somebody steps on my shoe, right? And I just bought a pair of brand new sneakers, and now I got a stain on my shoe, and now I'm pissed off. We just gave our energy away there, you know? Neutrality is the highest vibration. You can use love to go up in the frequency ladder. And then you can create your best life yet, your best experience. And you can use the negative energies to your advantage as well. Transmute anything. It's all about knowing thyself. If you have something negative attacking you, know what chakra center it's attacking. Know why it's triggering you. Know thyself. I'm gonna make a video on that as well, because that incorporates with food heavily. Your foods affect your emotions. And that's another big key here, is emotions. Wholesome vibration, love, abundance, and prosperity. Much love.